Hello. So, this is one of those unsettling kind of questions is like, tell me a little bit about yourself. So, I have decided this to be my first video. So, let's talk a little bit about me. Welcome back. My name is Srinivas. I've been working as an infrastructure engineer for the past 10-12 years now. I have worked as a Unix administrator, as a platform engineer, and as a DevOps engineer on a wide variety of projects. I'd like to share some of the outcomes I was involved in. I was involved in a project for developer productivity or improving developer productivity. The goal there was to create build and release pipelines and help automate the process of releasing code and require no manual intervention whatsoever. I did use tools like Terraform and Azure pipelines to help implement that process in that project. There are other projects that I was involved in were to reduce time to market for microservices. So microservices require a lot of duplication of effort for releasing different services or different microservices. So I did work on creating automation for that project so that there would be limited effort on the developer end, and then the time required to release services would be minimal to none. The way that was achieved and that was implemented was every time there was a new project that did come online, we had configuration changes added to a certain file location. And after adding that configuration changes to file location and using Jenkins files and shared Groovy code, a new resource and a new repository would be created, and so would be a new endpoint. So if it is a Tomcat application or it is a Java application that used some other services, then it would be made available based on the configuration added to that one specific location. And from that point on, all that we had to do was release code. So there was a limited involvement when it came to delivering or releasing infrastructure. Some of the other projects that I like to talk about and share about is internal tooling for automation and synthetic monitoring. So releasing code is one thing and automating infrastructure is one thing. But at the same time, monitoring infrastructure and monitoring our application services is very crucial and important as well. So some of the things that are required in that process is to ensure that the synthetic workflows are working as expected, and the outcomes or the responses that the applications are providing are as expected as well. Some of the other things that we would require to make sure that applications are doing well is the response times. So response times from places like, as an example, somewhere in Singapore and places like somewhere all the way to Northern California should be consistent and should be within an expected range of response times. I did work on implementing automation to ensure that the application responses were as expected and the response times were within acceptable ranges. The other projects that I did work on was to improve the security posture for the application workloads and overall for the organization. So there were different projects or different processes that were involved, and I used IAC or infrastructure as code best practices and to deliver role-based access controls on different cloud providers and cloud technologies. There's other things that I have been involved in that was to live migrate database workloads for different database technologies. There were some database technologies were like NoSQL database technologies or non-relational database technologies, and there were SQL technologies as well, or relational databases. And the workloads were live migrations, and the workloads were like in terabytes of data that needed to be migrated. I did work on projects in those capacities. I like to work on and talk about using Python for implementing some of those applications and implementing the runtime for some of those applications, as well as some of the infrastructure as code services and tools like Terraform for automation, Packer for creating images, and Ansible for automating the infrastructure or the application runtime. Why create content on YouTube, you may ask? Right? There's one thing that I have realized over time. There's always a point A where we want to implement something or achieve something, or there's a task at hand or goal that we want to implement and it's planned. And there's always a point B where we achieve the end result and everything that was planned initially has been achieved and has been delivered. The transition from point A to point B is the journey that helps us get there. What I have recognized over time is that as memory fades, that journey is lost. And I really want to document this journey at this time. So that's the real reason why I'm creating content, so that I can document that journey and publish it on the internet. There's other things that I believe are very essential to help document that journey, which is try and learn things, how to create content, or how to create great content over time. One of them could be like getting the audio right. So the other things could be like getting the lighting in the room right. Also, writing copies. Those are some of the skill sets that you need, or that you kind of need to develop or get good at over time to create good content. And those are some of the things that I'm looking forward to and learning and making a part of my process and documenting the journey. That's the whole goal behind creating and publishing content on YouTube. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. I am planning on implementing a real-world application using different AWS services, tools, and technologies, which would be inclusive and not limited to the API gateways, Lambda functions, DynamoDBs, storage services, and or messaging systems like ActiveMQ or RabbitMQ queues. And the whole purpose of that project is to implement not just the application, but all the surrounding enterprise tools and services that are required to make an application like that successful, like build and deploy systems, so on and so forth. I'll be publishing that code on my GitHub repo, and the link for that repo would be provided in upcoming videos on this channel. So please look out for that. And thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.